Hey there, YouTube. How's it going? Nerdy Narwhal here, and I'm back again today to take another look at a 6-scale action figure. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Sideshow Collectibles 1/6 scale Friday the 13th Part 7 Jason Voorhees. So this is a figure that Sideshow produced probably about 10 years or more so ago of Jason Voorhees. As he appeared in New Blood, which is a fan favorite look for Jason Voorhees. Part 6, he was brought back as a zombie, and in Part 7, that was the first appearance of Kane Hodder, so he was in this crazy zombified suit, and it really took the deterioration of Jason's physical form to its logical conclusion, before they messed everything up with Part 8 and how he looked in that one. Anyways, right off the bat, this is not a completely stock figure. As it's been sold out for a long time, I didn't want to go and pay an excessive amount of money for an older Sideshow figure, a figure that is on the Artist Buck body, and a figure that there isn't really a lot of good YouTube reviews out there of. So I bided my time and I waited, and I was able to find this guy loose and not quite complete on eBay for pretty cheap, probably about double, maybe triple the original $40 SRP price tag. So you can pick this guy up for a good price if you are patient like I was, or you could just spend the big money, couple of grand, and get an absolutely beautiful piece from one's customs. Something that I just so close but wasn't quite able to yet, at least, bring myself to do, although that would be a grail to get into my collection. So anyways, this is the Sideshow Collectibles Part 7 Jason Voorhees. Now, it wasn't complete. He does come with a few other weapons if you do get it brand new in the box, but all I've got for him is his machete, you can see there in that hand, and his axe, which you can see here in my hands. Machete is Jason's most iconic weapon, so I usually opt to display him with that. The base that he is on is also obviously not the original Sideshow Collectibles base. That's just a little one that I did up myself. Some of the modifications that I've done to it are I added a little blood staining to the pants. I took a toothbrush and dipped it in a red mix and brushed the pants and the shoes to add some weathering there. I snipped some of the loose fabric pieces. See these little stringies here? Well, originally on this figure, the stringies were so over the top that it covered up all the gore that's underneath there. So I cut some of that out. I figured if Sideshow went through all the trouble 10 years ago to put a rubber bodysuit on this guy, I want to be able to see what they did. Coming up here, there's that mask. Also not stock. I actually have a new Sideshow Collectibles Jason mask that I'm going to be trying to weather up more accurately to the movie. So this was just me piddling around there on the mask that it came with. The older Sideshow masks are all way over large, and so that was going to need to be changed. Also, this is just a chain that I have yet to weather up. This is not the stock chain from Sideshow. And on his machete there, I added a little extra spatter. So, with all that out of the way, now that you know exactly what is not quite stock about this guy, we can get into a review of the figure proper, and you can judge for yourself if this is a piece that is worth your time and effort to go back and pick up. Now, usually I would start with the extra hands and the accessories, but there are none. You already seen the accessories, and as far as extra hands go, there are none for this Jason, and that is because they used the rubber bodysuit. They sculpted all the way up to his forearms. There we go, unbutton that. And hold it up, maybe. You can see this is all you get. So there's no wrist articulation either. You do get these pretty well sculpted hands, which just rotate there at the forearm. Let's go in for a close-up so you can see what you're getting with that. Not bad looking. And there is a cool guy on Instagram who is sort of helping me out, gave me a lot of tips and pointers so that I can bring this Jason up to speed and have it look better against more modern 6-scale figures. His name is Unknown Art, UKN. I think it's spelled a little bit funky, but he's a great guy. Go check out what he did with his Sideshow Collectibles Part 7 Jason, and you might be able to get an idea of what I'm going to be attempting to do with mine that I have here. So anyways, there's one hand. Let's bring that back down. I will say I love the buttons that Sideshow used to use on their figures. Nowadays, when you get buttons on figures, they feel so much cheaper, whereas these had a nice sturdy snap. I'm not worried about them degrading too much over time. After all, it's already lasted 10 years. What's another 10? Okay, here is his other hand. This one is a bit more of a gripping. You can see there, this one's definitely meant to hold a weapon. This one can hold a weapon, but they didn't fully commit to the C-grip look, which I do appreciate. So this one can also be used for some kind of gesturing or picking up some poor unfortunate camper off the ground. This one is definitely made for gripping and holding things. And then we get to the outfit. So right off the bat, the tailoring is okay. It's baggy, it's ragged. Like I said, I went in there and I did some cutting so that you could see more of his exposed rib cage, his exposed pieces, and on the leg. But it's just fine. I think if anything, the outfit stock is a little bit too gray. There are definitely ways to make it look wetter, like he just came out of the lake, and he was drenched, at least at the start of that movie, because he had been soaking in Crystal Lake for years. So I'm going to go through and do that. I think it was suggested to use a medium gloss type paint on the outfit. Go in there, wipe it on, let it dry, and then it gives a good wetted look, and also darkens it a bit. It's just too much of a light gray. Let's turn them around to the back here and come in a bit closer, give you a nice idea of what you're working with back here. That looks great. You have that exposed rib cage, spinal cord, all the gore that you would expect from this version of Jason Voorhees. Kane Hodder was a big, bulky dude. So while the outfit is baggy, it can give the illusion of a wider, heavier set guy. One thing that I've been thinking about maybe doing is going in there, adding some padding in the shoulders underneath the outfit to widen him up a little bit, and then stuffing the rubber suit that he has on with some cotton pads or something to sort of bring that bulk out a little bit more. He's on the base of an Art S Buck body, which is Sideshow's old body. Not too shabby at the time, but compared to modern 6-scale figures, they really just don't hold up. So I'm going to take this off so you can get a better idea of what the rubber undersuit does for this figure and how it will limit articulation going into the articulation section of this video. There we go. So as you can see, it's basically comes all the way up through the legs. It is 2 pieces here, and then up into the torso like a tank top. Now these 2 pieces have been affixed, but if you heat it up a bit and pull ever so softly, you would be able to separate those. to take it off, other things like that. I would love to just put it onto a new body. However, because these hands are connected to the wrist, it's been tough for me to find a new body that I'd be able to slice at the wrist, plug these into, and maintain that articulation. So I sort of given up on that. This guy's on a Artist Buck body, and that's probably where he will stay. Now I'm going to button Jason right back up, and we will go in to articulation of this figure. Alright, now going into articulation, you will see that I have taken Jason's mask off so you can get an idea of how that head sculpt looks. Not too bad by older Sideshow standards, but yeah, could be reworked. Anyways, let's get Jason in here for a bit of a close-up. There we go. The head sculpt, left and right, all the way around. He does not look down too much. You're going to be using the hips as well as you can to get him to look down at those unfortunate campers. And he will look back just on the neck, about that far. So the front to the back is not great. This isn't a ball joint inside of the neck there. It's a weird spring sort of joint that they used on the Artist Bucks. Not ideal, but it does leave you with less than great neck articulation. Now, because Sideshow's rubber bodysuit does not extend into the arms have unchecked mobility. They can go out, up, all the way around. Decent double joint at the elbows, which is just great to see. No wrist articulation, but as previously mentioned, you do have that forearm swivel. I appreciate that Sideshow did not extend the bodysuit all the way through to the arms, because I did not want this to be a Jason Voorhees statue. I did have the Mezco 12-inch Part 7 Jason they did a while ago. I was really excited for that figure. It was mixed medium, like this one, but it was also rotocast, and the articulation took a huge hit. It was essentially just a Part 7 statue. I'm a figure collector. I like to go in there and really mix things up when I can. So having hindered articulation in the torso and legs is just fine. Jason's a big lumbering guy anyways. He's not doing anything crazy. But being able to raise those arms up and get him right about there, like he's about to bring his machete or his axe down on some poor camper, is absolutely essential to how I want to have a Jason Voorhees displayed in my collection. So there's that. Anyways, the torso is where you start to really get hindered by that fat suit, or that rubber suit. You can crunch him down there. He will just spring right back up. And bring him back. He will spring back. So expect very limited articulation in there. Now panning down to the hips, which is where you get your next bit of articulation, I was pleasantly pleased that he can get his leg up quite a bit, even with that rubber bodysuit on. Good double joint bend to the knees, and ta-da! The rubber suit does hinder the articulation a bit, but you could still get a surprisingly large amount of motion out of it. Now again, this is a 10-year-old figure. I'm not sure how much longer those joints will hold up and remain tight, especially if I'm trying to pose it like this. But for now, they've lasted this long, and Jason can still hold a pretty good pose there. So that is nice to see. Anyways, coming into the feet here, there is your standard Sideshow stuff, but the boot is a full-on one-piece rubber. So do expect some hindrances. While the rubber is malleable enough to allow for some posing to get Jason into some wider stances, it doesn't want to do too much. So that's about the gist of what I'm going to pose my Jason in my collection there. And that's good enough for me. So let's do one more quick top to bottom. Here he is at the top, panning down to the bottom. There's that base that I did. You can see some of the flecks of it coming off there. And then back up, side profile. Let's get a look at Jason's teeth. That is a dentist's wet dream, or maybe a nightmare. Well, maybe the dentist would have a nightmare thinking about working on it, but a wet dream thinking about the bill that they could charge for all the work that our guy Jason here needs. Okay, one more close-up of that head sculpt. Really not too bad. If you are in the market for a 6 scale Part 7 Jason, and you don't want to spend too exuberant an amount of money, or perhaps you're saving up to find a Part 7 Jason done by ones that just looks incredible, you could do a lot worse as far as placeholders go than getting this guy into your collection. Now, once again, I do really recommend that you go and check out what Unknown Art has done on his Instagram with his Part 7 Sideshow Jason, because if you put enough elbow grease into it, you can really make this guy look just exceptional. Get the right paints, do the right kind of work, and there you go. But even stock, if you just need a Part 7 Jason, again, not a bad figure. It still works for what you would need a Jason to do. And Part 7 is just such a cool look for him. I personally needed to get one into my collection, so I have that in now. Anyways, this has been Nerdy Narwhal's look at a Part 7 Jason Voorhees 6 scale action figure from Sideshow. Maybe I'll update on my Instagram once I do more work to this guy, but it's probably going to be a very slow process until I get him to where, in my mind, it's done. It's finally done. But we'll see. We'll see how vigorously I attempt to work on it. Anyways, guys, if I missed anything or you have any questions about this piece, please feel free to get at me in the comments. I love creating a dialogue. It is now that midsummer to late summer sort of time, and this is when I really start to ramp up my consumption of horror pop culture. So action figures, of course, movies, comics, video games, you name it. This is sort of how I like to spend my late summers consuming this type of media. So I'll probably be getting some more horror figures in, probably be doing some more reviews of them until I switch gears again. But anyways, yeah, once again, if I miss anything or you have any questions, please get at me in the comments. Otherwise, this is Nerdy Narwhal signing out. Stay happy, stay healthy, and keep on collecting. Bye-bye.